shows that there are 86,400 seconds in a day of 24 hours, or the time it takes the Earth to revolve on its axis. The distance of the Earth traveled at the equator in 1 second is exactly 1,000 John Bard's cubits. The cubit was equal to 1/1000th of a second of time. I know this is technical, but here's the point. The foot is 1/100th second of arc. The speed of the rotation of the vaults of heaven is 1,000 geographic cubits a second. The Egyptian counted a minute of arc as being 1,000 brasses, or 1,000 fathoms of 6 feet. The Egyptians measured time from the equator of the earth. Joseph Smith's explanation is as measured from this earth. He also noted that 1 day in Kolob is equal to 1,000 years, according to the measure of this earth. And the number 1,000 is constantly showing up in Egyptian measures for ancient time. And that's the one number Joseph Smith focused on. Ha! Take that. I thought that was interesting when I found that. Just more coincidence. Now, Abraham is very interesting, associated with all 3 facsimiles. The critics say he's associated with none of them. These are pagan Egyptian documents. They're way too late for Abraham. Joseph Smith's just an idiot. Well, he's an idiot that keeps getting it right. Because now we have a lion couch that was discovered in the Greek magical papyri. And underneath that lion couch is the name of Abraham in Greek. Abraham. There's the A, the B, R, A, H, and M. Abraham is associated, at least the name. This isn't identifying the person on the couch as Abraham, but his name is associated with the lion couch now. There's no question about that. On the second, the hypocephalus, in the Greek magical papyrus, Abraham is identified as the apple of the eye. This is the description of a hypocephalus. This is exactly the eye of Re as well as the eye of Horus. Abraham is definitely now understood to be associated with the ancient Egyptian hypocephali. And in the third one, this is the best one, and I've got some extra details. I'm going to try to hold this back down so I can read it to you. Can you see? Oh, I've got to go backwards. Boy, this is as bad as reading upside down. This figure, facsimile number 3. Everybody on facsimile number 3? No, you're not paying attention. Come on, get with it, class. Just kidding. It's not like I'm going to make you do a research paper on this. There won't be a test after this, I promise. This figure on the throne has this great big huge crown on its head. I mean, it's absolutely sumptuous. It's huge. I mean, if you was to have it in real life, you know, it reaches the ceiling. It's just astonishing how big these things are. This figure is called in the Egyptian literature Kent Amenti. Osiris Kent Amenti. Only when he's on the throne with this crown is he called Osiris Kent Amenti. Now what did Joseph Smith call it? The Grand Presidency of Heaven. Right? Guess what Osiris Kent Amenti in Egyptian means? The Grand Presidency. He is the president. He is preceding the spirits in the spirit world. That's why I argue, well, this could very well be a deification scene. This could be a spirit world scene, not necessarily an earthwise scene. But the actual name constitutes the Grand Presidency of Israel, as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were said to do. It's perfectly analogous to the Grand Presidency of Heaven in facsimile number 3. Now, the Jewish Midrash Rabbah shows the people of the world had a tradition of Abraham being a king and a god over them as grand president. Remember, Joseph Smith said this is Abraham teaching the court of Pharaoh astronomy. He consistently identifies Abraham with Osiris, and he uses the same functions. He's teaching them astronomy. He is the king and god over them, the grand president. Now, the early Jewish, Muslim, and Greek materials show how exalted, powerful, and kingly Abraham was to Pharaoh and the people. While the original context of the facsimiles are not involved with Abraham, later writers telling about Abraham have associated him precisely with these situations as illustrated in our facsimiles. And they were later adopted to the story of the book of Abraham, because these are Egyptian documents. And it's now understood that Jews took Egyptian documents and used them to illustrate their stories about Abraham. But Joseph Smith did it first. Very interesting. Very interesting. It doesn't matter whether it's Egyptian. It doesn't matter whether it has to do with the Hebrew. It doesn't matter which tradition Joseph Smith is elaborating on. I meant to show you this earlier. Kolob. Karev means near, approach. The L and the R are interchangeable. Karev is the same. You pronounce the B as soft, and it's not Karev, it's Karev. But here it's Kalb. Kalb. The heart, the intellect, the intelligence. Kalb also means a dog. And it has to do with the dog star Sirius, which is a measurement of time to the Egyptians because it signaled the rise of the flood of the Nile. The Merket, the Egyptian Merket, this is a heart at the end of the plumb bob line. The plumb bob line. And what it was supposed to do is measure. It weighs and balances the earth, which is another one of the descriptions of Joseph Smith. Hamlet's Mill, the heart is the center of gravity. If you've never read this book, Hamlet's Mill, I call on you to speedily repent, go grab it, and read it. It's a fabulous book. It holds a middle place among the people. Now get this. Get this. Alpha Centauri is Kolob, according to the Arabs. That's what they call it. The critics say, well, Joseph Smith just made this junk up. You know, who's heard of Kolob? Well, obviously they haven't, but the Arabs did. They say, Ibn Arabi, on his ascent to heaven, he says, in the house of Abraham, called Kolob, because it was near the throne of God. Wow. Yeah, wow. You got it. Isn't that astonishing? Wow, that's right. Wow. That is just so fun. I can't help it. Look. The scriptures are a blast. They really are. It's fun when you know what you're looking for. Don't make them boring, man. There's nothing better. They are the greatest intellectual challenge you'll ever have. They're also the greatest spiritual challenge you'll ever have. I promise. It's worth it. It's worth it. Oh, and I'll show you enough of that junk. Oh, and I'll show you hypocephalus junk. Hey, we're making progress, man. Oh, and I'm jumping back and forth, sorry. Lion couches. I told you about lion couches. Now look at these lion couches. These are actually stone altars, stone pillars. Hey, how much time is left on my tape there? Boy, this is Vanity Fair, isn't it? Oh, 4 minutes. How much time do I have left?
You've got 10.
Halten Sie, bitte.